President Biden is hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House this afternoon.
The country's involvement with the Russian-Ukraine conflict has been one of the biggest stories going into the 2024 election, as you know. Biden has remained adamant his administration deserves the opportunity to finish the job for another 4 years. But questions remain for some of whether or not President Biden is the right person to lead past 2024.
Senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us now. Hey there, Ed. So earlier today, you spoke with President Biden's campaign manager, Julie Chavez, in a CBS exclusive interview about 2024. So tell us, what are some of the highlights from that discussion?
That's right. Good to see you both. Julie Chávez Rodríguez is the campaign manager, a former White House official, longtime California Democratic political activist, now running the campaign. We talked about the president's standing in the polls. We talked about how the campaign is trying to win back supporters who may be at least skeptical of whether he deserves another term. And we also talked about whether or not he might visit with striking auto workers in the Midwest. Take a look. Is he going to go visit UAW workers in Michigan? Do you know if there's any plan for that?
I'm not going to get ahead of our, official sort of office and sort of any potential travel plans. But I will say that this president has the strongest record when it comes to labor than any previous president. And as someone who grew up in the labor movement, it makes me extremely proud to see what we've been able to do as an administration. On the other hand, as we've seen from, the Republicans and folks like Donald Trump, they've been absolutely horrible for American auto workers. They've shipped jobs overseas. They've increased, tax cuts for the rich. That's not the kind of, vision that helps the American worker. But we know that the, vision that this president has put forward and what we've coined as Bidenomics is one that's investing in workers. It's investing in U.S. manufacturing and making sure that, we're really, bringing so much of these jobs back home.
So no plans yet, at least, to visit either in an official or campaign capacity, but clearly they are focused on that issue and suggesting that union workers and those that are close to them should not consider voting for the Republican alternative. We should point out, she says that she's close to the labor movement. Julie Chávez Rodríguez is the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez, who, of course, was the United Farm Workers founder and big labor activist there in California. Her parents later ran that union. She grew up in it and in that movement. We talked to her a little bit about that and sort of her place in Latino history and labor history, parts of which you'll see later today on America Decides.
Hard to get more credibility than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Ed, I mean, we have heard from Antony Blinken yesterday on CBS Mornings, many high-level Democrats, that they are confident that the president has the virility, that has the strength to continue. But some polls have found that the majority of Democrats would rather have an alternative. So what is the administration saying? We heard Julie Chavez talk about a strong record, but what about the next 4 years? People are seeing videos of the president, sometimes not remembering where he started the sentence. And so how are they planning to convince the people that, he can continue doing this for 4 more years?
Well, the campaign, separate from the administration here at the White House, would say they've got about 400 days to go. And that's plenty of time to remind people of what has been done by the Biden administration and what more could be done with 4 more years. Chávez Rodríguez is somebody who meets with or speaks with the president on a regular basis, says there's no reason to think that he's not up to the job. And when we asked her 0 to 100%, will he be the Democratic nominee? She said 100%, no question about it. He will be the standard bearer for Democrats next year. But as you saw in those numbers, it is a tight race right now. The only number, though, that the campaign is concerned about is re-election, which, again, is about 410 days away. They got time.
They sure do. Ed O'Keefe, thank you.
Rest that voice, Ed.
Yeah.